Hey guys, welcome to my new site case study. This is month 2, and in month 2, really a lot of this month was just catching back up to the timeline. We had some issues with the late release in the first month, and so I only got through 8 instead of 10 that month, and so I pushed hard and I outsourced some this month just to make sure I would stay consistent on the timeline. So let's take a look. Income School and Project 24 are Jim and Ricky's program, which is focused on building content-based websites to replace your income within 24 months, basically to build towards a full-time income, which for most people would be around that $3,000 to $4,000 a month mark. For those people, they can more than likely, if they're successful within their site, be able to quit their job at 24 months or even beforehand. Project 24 has a couple of different paths, so you can choose the blogging path, or there is a YouTube path, with many people reaching their full-time income in 12 months on YouTube. But I'm much more interested in the blogging side because it's far more passive for myself and doesn't require consistently making videos nonstop to maintain growth. This is just outlining some of the basics of what I'm hoping for, which is to be at my 24 months in May 2023 after making 24 of these videos and having a public release when I reach $1,000 a month on the website. And for this website, my domain is niched up, which allows me plenty of sub-niches to continue to blog on. And for this, I'm keeping the content niche down and not going with a full shotgun style approach. So I'm hoping to keep the content within a couple of specific sub-niches that I think are valuable. The overall goals would be for me to reach $5,000 a month of income in month 24. And that I'm at 165,000 page views at that point. My hope is that I can maintain an RPM over $30 between ads, affiliate, and hopefully the information product that I would like to make. I have a couple of ideas. They're going to be something that I'll wait to see what traffic dictates as a better niche to make, or sub niche to make sure that I create the information product around in the first place. And then start building an email list, as we all know how Google and algorithms go, that sometimes not having an email list or a secondary way to reach people can be detrimental to your site in the long run. All right, and month 2. What I've done is completed another 24 pieces of content, really just to get me back up to that 30 that they recommend, and a few extras because I built a buyer's guide around a specific item to give myself at least a specific post that's organized for making money. And total word count comes in at 42,504. What I'm hoping to do is recycle any income that comes in from the site back into content. When the money starts coming in, even at small levels, I'm really just going to bank it to put right back into having posts created. So I'm at the end of 24 months, they would have you have 195 posts. I'm hoping that with recycling in the income I generate, that I should be able to push closer to 300 by the end, showing that you can continue to build. You don't need to do the bare minimum of the timeline, and you can use that same income that's coming in to power yourself further and faster than just the timeline would give you. The cost that came in was $590 was on content to get myself caught up along with what I could write. And then basically the software I use. So I use Canva specifically for featured images and for YouTube and those kind of things. So it's on here. Link Whisper to help me make sure I create links. And then I use Amalinks Pro, which is a very efficient showcase creator for Amazon specific affiliates. Between those, I can build engaging content and showcase specific products to pull in user clicks to get them to Amazon. As we all should understand, they may not buy the product that you send them to Amazon for in the first place, but that starts the 24-hour cookie for a purchase. So every person you can send over to Amazon is just one more chance at making some kind of affiliate income from that visitor. As you'll see, I have 6 organic page views in month 2, and the timeline expects 0. So I'm infinitely better than the timeline at this point. As to Google search, I am starting to get solid impressions. There's 6 days with 0 impressions overall. So what I would really like to do is that next month, maybe I have a month with no 0-day impressions, just because at that point, at least I know every day my content is coming up in some search inside Google. Average position being 48 is basically expected. All the content's new. None of it's gone through Google's dance to evaluate all of it. So it's going to jump all around, and maybe I'll get some hits, maybe I won't get some hits. I do have it also being submitted to Bing with rank math. So it's just auto-submitting to Bing every time a post is added. So I should get some traffic even without Google, as Bing always seems to be much faster in the end. And then Chris over at Niche Safari was talking about having things be not indexed, so I figured I'd just add this because it's a fun thing to track, which is just discovered not indexed. So out of the 37 valid pages and posts that Google sees on my sitemap, I have 8 posts that are discovered and not currently indexed, and 2 that are crawled but not currently indexed. So I'm not going to go force submit any of these. I'm just making sure that I link to each content 2 or 3 times, and then I'm just going to use this to keep watch. And I'm adding the slide just because it's a fun data point to actually watch in monthly review and see if they're constantly growing and not catching up, or if they're catching up, but we will see. As to stats, I added SERPRobot to track and show average position over time. At this point, obviously, with a brand new website, it's not anywhere. So there's no real change in anything. There is a couple more keywords that I put in there that are related to my topics that aren't the main post title, along with the actual keyword for the site that I just wanted to try and track and see. So we'll just keep it in here, and every month at least we'll be able to see what the growth is for the last month, using the last 30 days from there. Then as usual, I mean, it's month 2. If Amazon actually had a sale, it would be impressive. There's been no clicks. I've only had 6 visitors. So obviously this isn't going to change fast necessarily unless I somehow pick a post that's got some form of buyer intent or can lead somebody to one of my buyer intent posts from a search intent post. And since zoic has removed the page view limit, I went ahead and I launched zoic on the site. This should give more continual income, even if it's only pennies. I mean, as you'll see, this is only 21 cents on what it sees as 21 visits. So it's not much to write home about. I do have premium. I pay for premium for all my other sites. Basically, premium applies to every site you have on zoic. So the more sites you have, really the less any one site expense is. I know that some people were discussing that before. Basically, all I'm saying is that I'm not really paying for premium on this. I get this because I have premium on my other sites, and any site I add to zoic is going to have premium by default, which makes premium less and less expensive the more sites you actually have on the service. And if you're interested, go ahead and leave me a comment below if there's specifically anything you'd like me to change or add that could make this more interesting. I would love to adapt and show anything and everything I can without just giving it away. And hopefully within 12 months I can pull off enough search that we're starting to get closer to that 1,000 mark. I believe by the timeline that only probably happens around month 14 or 16, but then it should be ramping very fast and accelerating from that point forward. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you've got anything, let me know.